The Canadian government could be quietly taking back thousands of dollars from you in retirement, money that you thought was yours. Now, this is called the OAS Clawback. Now, I know there are a ton of videos out there on this topic, and a lot of them make it feel very complicated. They throw charts at you, they talk about obscure tax rules, and by the end, you're left really scratching your head. Now, this one is going to be different. I'm going to make it simple and straightforward, just like I would do if I was sitting across from you having a coffee. Okay, so let me explain it in very simple terms, because here's the truth. The OAS clawback isn't something to panic about, but if you don't understand it, it can turn it into a trap that quietly costs you thousands of dollars. And that's the last thing that I want for you. All right, let's start at the beginning. OAS, or the Old Age Security. It is a monthly benefit. Now, Canadians start getting this at the age of 65. It's not based on contributions like CPP, but instead it's tied to residency. So if you've lived in Canada for at least 40 years as an adult, you'll generally qualify for the full benefit. Now, for 2025, the full OAS payment is roughly about $735 a month, or about $8,800 per year. Now, that number changes with inflation, so it's going to slowly increase over time. Now, this sounds really great, right? Free money from the government to help with retirement. But here's the catch. If your income is above a certain threshold, the government starts asking for it back, and that's the clawback. Now, in 2025, the threshold is around $93,500, and here's how it works. Now, for every dollar of income above $93,500, you're going to pay back 15 cents to OAS. Now, once your income reaches around $151,500, you're going to lose the whole thing. Now, it's officially called the OAS recovery tax, but most people refer to it as clawback. And the reason people hate it is because it feels like you're losing something, right? That they thought they had earned. Now, a lot of people hear that $93,500 line and they think, I'm never going to get close to that. But that's where this trap lies. So let me paint a picture here. Let's say you have a workplace pension worth $45,000 a year. If we add CPP on top of that, maybe that's $15,000, OAS, that's another $8,500. Now that's nearly $70,000 already. Now, also, let's say you have an RSP. So at some point, you're going to have to start withdrawing from it. Maybe that's another $25,000 a year. Now, suddenly you're at $95,000. You're in that clawback territory without even realizing it. And that's not even counting other things that could push you over that line, such as investment gains. So when you sell stocks, maybe selling a rental property or even a cottage. Maybe you've got some large RIF withdrawals that you didn't plan for. Even the wrong timing of income can trigger it. Now, it sneaks up on people. And when it does, it feels like a penalty for doing the right things, saving, investing, and working hard. Now, let's pause here because this is where people get really upset. Being in the clawback zone is not the end of the world. In fact, it's usually a sign that you're doing very well financially. If you have income sources that are strong in retirement, that's a good thing. And remember, the clawback doesn't take your whole OAS at once. It's gradual. Now, if you're $5,000 over that line, you're not going to lose $8,500. You're just paying back about $750. So, yes, it can sting, but it's not a disaster. The bigger danger is not knowing about it or letting it stress you out so much that you make poor decisions just to avoid it. Now, I've seen people obsessed with avoiding OAS clawback, even when it meant paying more tax somewhere else or missing out on enjoying their retirement. That's not a healthy trade-off. So what can you do about it? Well, here's where planning really comes in. So let's talk about a few strategies. Strategy one is the RSP meltdown, and I talk about this one a lot. It's one of the best ways to reduce OAS clawback and to start drawing down your RSPs earlier. So instead of waiting until 71 when you're forced to convert it to a RIFT, you take withdrawals in your earlier 60s. Now, yes, you're going to pay tax a little bit sooner, but you're going to shrink that account so that you don't get stuck with these huge RIF withdrawals later on, right when OAS starts to come into play. Now, strategy number two is around income splitting. So once you actually start receiving your retirement income, you can start splitting this depending on your age with your spouse. So these are things like RIF withdrawals, maybe some pension income. Splitting can take someone above this threshold and move them back under it while keeping more of your combined OAS. Strategy number three is using TFSAs. Now, this is a big one. TFSA withdrawals don't count as income. They don't trigger any tax and they don't affect your clawback. Now, the more you build your TFSA before retirement, the more flexibility that you're going to have. Strategy number four is timing big gains. So if you're going to sell an investment, maybe a property, think about how it fits into your overall income plan. One big sale in a single year can push your way into that clawback territory and above that clawback line. Now, sometimes it makes sense to spread things out a bit here. Now, none of these strategies are a one-size-fits-all solution. The right move depends on your situation and goals. But remember, and this is important, you have options. You're not stuck. And here's where I want to get real with you. The OAS clawback should never be the thing that runs your retirement plan. If you spend your life stressing about clawback, trying to avoid every dollar, you're going to be missing the bigger picture. Your retirement isn't just about squeezing every benefit out of the government. It's about living the life that you actually want. If that means giving some OAS back while enjoying your money, traveling, helping your family, or just sleeping better at night, that's worth it. The clawback is just one line item, so don't let it control your happiness. So that's the OAS clawback. It's not complicated once you strip away the jargon. It's not the end of the world if you're in it. But if you understand how it works, you can make smarter choices, save money, and avoid some painful surprises. Now, if you'd like to learn more or you want help building a retirement plan that actually works for you, you can visit me anytime at stonecitywealth.com. I'm Adam. We'll see you in the next video.